Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is March 21st, 2024. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. We have an agenda that we're going to follow. And the first item is Viola, formerly Suez Water, behind 34 Coventry Circle, upgrades to existing well site. Which one is that? That's the 34 Coventry Road, okay? Can you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
Sure. My name is Adam Wegstein. I'm from the law firm of Hockerman, Tortorella, and Wegstein, and I represent Veolia Water New York, Inc. I'm here with Ramya Ramanathan from Atzel Masher. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, and Ziegler. She's the planner that's here. Also Maria Stepanova from Veolia, and Tom Hersel, who's here from Fletcher, Kramer, and Sons. Have to remember everyone.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
I think didn't you guys get a permit on this?
We have been here previously. We got a permit to cut down 14 trees in February of 2022.
Yeah.
At that point, we then ran into an issue with a homeowners association which owns the underlying land objected to this project because they didn't like the way it was set up at that point. So we pulled back really in large part at the planning board's behest and at the neighbors' requests, and had been working them for an extended period of time and came up with a plan, really the plan that's before you as to landscaping and trees, that was satisfactory to them and to us, that we agreed on. And obviously, ultimately, your board and the planning board are the arbiter of what gets done out there, but they're satisfied with what we presented to you. Your board also gave a wetland letter of permission to allow the installation of utility lines that will service the new PFAS treatment facility. And that's really where we stand at this point. We are here, really I guess there are three subsets of why we're here. The first one is because we were referred to you by the planning board where we appeared last week in connection with our application for conditional use permit and site plan approval. The second is for continuation of the application for the wetland permit that was made several years ago and stalled. And the third one is to ask that you would waive the requirement for a tree cutting permit to allow us to cut 19 trees.
But that's not on this job. This is the same project.
It is. It's all on the same project.
It's two, okay. All right, so you made two applications, because, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, not at
because
all.
I'm just looking through the notes here. Back in February 3rd, 2022, I thought we moved to accept the application of Suez Water, New York, with the following conditions to arrive on a Monday, which was provide a copy of the federal wetland approval, copy of the state wetland approval. SWIP had to be approved by the town engineer, submit a spill plan, fueling plan, add notes, store all equipment on 6 mil poly, planning board approval, wetland inspector to inspect silt fence pre and post work, provide a restoration plan of all areas that are not getting gravel and ensure areas restored to equal or better conditions, and provide a letter of certified clean fill. And this was seconded by one of our board members. And then the last thing that was is Mr. Garabed?
Yes.
Who's that, you?
No.
He's Maria's colleague.
Maria is playing
Okay.
his role tonight. She's a PE from Veolia.
That's okay. And then it says, we'll do our best to pull things together as quickly as we can, but some of these others, the tree permit, I think, should be fine, but some of these, I think, is gonna take a little bit of time. I don't think we could turn it around by Monday. I said, then it doesn't get advertised. So because I have a permit here, but it was not executed.
What tax map is that permit on?
This is tax map.
Or do you have a street address?
It just says, it's the Suez Water, behind 34 Coventry Circle, Mahopac, New York.
So the tax number, sorry to interject, it's 75/22/68.
Okay, yeah. We approved that night, though.
Yes.
With the conditional.
Conditional approval, and
Conditional.
we got those,
Right.
that information, but I don't think we ever got that information.
Federal, state, and SWIP? Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
construction of
fine
upgrades, treatment facility at their existing well site. The site upgrades include upsizing the existing well pumps and installation of a treatment building with a green sand, iron, and manganese removal system, as well as installation of granulated GAC treatment system.
That's correct, sir. Just to give some more background, that permit we did obtain, we got back to you with the items we could, and at the time the SWIP was under review, and we did have the federal and the state permits in hand, so we turned all of that back to you, which is why we got the approved permit to go ahead with the 14 trees at the time, 2 years ago.
But did you do any work there yet?
Yes, those 14 were cut off from the site pursuant to the permit.
Because I don't have a signed permit. I have a permit, but it's not
34
signed.
Coventry Circle.
We have this in our records, and we submitted it with
We
our
did not.
Again, I'm not
application.
trying to, I'm
On
not,
March
No,
17th.
I understand, sir.
On March 17th, we did not accept, it was eligible for a permit, but we did not
We did not grant it.
That's the
this
application.
is a tree cutting permit.
Yes,
This is
the tree
not,
cutting.
this is not a wetland.
No,
permit.
I'm
That
just
is
telling you about the,
Right, so you have two permits, two permit applications before
Correct.
us. One is for the wetland permit for the area behind, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to piece the puzzles together.
yes,
The puzzle together. So the first one is to get a wetland permit to construct the work, and the second request is for a waiver for a waiver of a public hearing, or a waiver for the tree cutting permit. We'll get to that next.
Yes.
But that's what you have.
yes,
So-
you're correct, sir. We did not get the wetlands permit.
Right, you
We
did not get a
yes.
wetland.
We had
Okay,
not.
so with that,
This is a
Then
brand new
this-
permit then, basically, right?
well, no, this is
It's a continuation of the prior application.
well, it's a little stale, but have you changed the wetland permit application? Like, what's the difference between what you presented to us in '22 versus today?
Yes, so to summarize the changes that were made on the plans based on the agreement that Veolia has with the homeowners association, it took 2 years for us to come to this agreement, and it comes down to 7 points that were changed on the plan to get everybody on board, and I'll walk you through it. So the first change is, Adam, do you mind?
Do you want me to hold?
So I don't know what to do with this.
It's a resubmittal. It's a 100% a resubmittal. I have on here that we told them resubmit.
Okay.
This is on March 17th, when they came before us for item 5, we told them come back and resubmit because they didn't have all the material.
Okay, so then what we have to do then is, if they meet I'm sorry, we're just,
No, please.
if
Go
we agree to what they have here tonight,
Yeah, 30-day clock
they
gets
go on the
advertised.
30-day clock, and then it gets advertised, and this goes away, and we issue you a new permit from the start date of when the permit's approved.
Understood. Yes, we understand that. Thank you.
Yeah,
We're good.
No,
it's all right,
I get it.
I'll be fine.
Okay, so.
We're responsible for the confusion.
Well, at least somebody's taking it. I thought it was just me.
No. Okay.
Okay, so what do you got?
Yes, so the first change is that the building, the GAC treatment building, the proposed facility, has come down south by 62 feet. It was further up north on the site, so it was basically closer to the neighbors on Coventry Circle. They wanted the building to be pushed back further away from their property line, which we did. It resulted in a 62 feet additional movement down south. What then happened was the grade 62 feet south is 4 feet lower. The building is still the same, so the height of the structure just goes down because of the grade of the surface at that point. So it was, double benefit to move it south and to lower the building's height at the same time.
You're
And-
still pouring a foundation for that, right? And are you gonna have it 4
Yes.
feet down on a foundation, or?
The existing grades, it works out that area is 4 feet lower than where the building was originally proposed. The building and everything, the height of the building is staying the same, but the peak elevation.
Will be lower.
Would be
4 feet low.
A total of 5 feet.
And it's what, a slab on grade?
We got footings, walls, piers, yeah. and
It's a
then
block
side.
building, right? If I recall, or prefab?
It's prefab, pre-engineered steel. But the first 4 feet is CMU.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Now, where does this building take you in relationship to the wetland or the buffer?
So what happens with the wetlands and the buffers is that because the building moved south, we had to do some changes to the way the drainage could work on site, because of which originally the permanent wetland impacts was only about 8 square feet, which was negligible. But because this has moved south, we're adding, I think, 420 square feet of permanent wetland disturbance.
Wetland disturbance or buffer disturbance?
No, these are permanent wetland impacts.
Going to look over
Yes, these are
something.
wetland impacts.
What sheet are you on?
I can confirm to you,
What
just
sheet
minute.
4.
Mind if I look over your shoulder?
Sure.
Yes, this is permanent wetland impact of 424 square feet of permanent wetland impact.
How much?
424 square feet,
420 square feet.
yes.
And then you're, obviously, because you're moving the building back 65 feet, whatever the number is,
Yeah.
you're going to be then having a longer driveway, correct?
Well, the drive is coming off of Bucks Hollow on the other side of the sheet, if you
Yeah,
see.
Bucks Hollow comes down, you go to a dead end, and then you have an easement.
This is Coventry Circle. I think it's going to a different, maybe on a different page. This is the grade.
We'll let her, go ahead, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so if you come off of Bucks Hollow, they're gonna extend the driveway and then come south there. So a little, yes, just to bring it 62 feet south where the building is.
Okay, where is the delineation of the wetland on your drawing? Can you,
So if you see the, can I come over there if that makes it easier for you?
Yes, bring them up.
Okay.
Yep.
come on over, we don't bite.
Given the impression that this is the wetlands, do you see the legend right
Hash
below
mark.
it? Yeah, the hash, this is the wetland.
The entire
This
house.
is the entire hash.
This hash,
So this whole road is in the
Yeah.
buffer?
yes.
Yeah. This hatch goes like this, it looks like. Oh, that.
How
this
does it
line?
do that, though?
I don't know.
All right, so
Check
what
if
I
there's
need
other-
on the drawing is I need you to delineate the wetland designation. I know you have a hatched area here,
Yes.
but I don't know where that hatched area go. And when was the last time this was flagged?
It should be written right there, April 2021.
All right, the flags need to be updated.
Okay, we'll pass the note along.
Because they're 3 years old.
I understand.
Here, this one's a better one for the wetlands. The erosion tree and landscaping plan. You got wetlands, and it comes down like this. And so
And mix of you.
it's, yeah.
And then this is the buffer.
And essentially, the turnaround and the building switched sides, so previously the building was here and the
Here,
turnaround
building
was
was here.
there. Yes, correct, and then the turnaround
Right,
was
so now
behind, now
you
is
switch, you
yeah.
swapped it. Okay.
Where is the where is the encroachment into the wetlands?
I'll
Is it
show you
on
the-
the southern side, or I don't know.
this
if
is
the
where
where's
it is.
Yeah,
One
southern.
So the area in red is the permanent wetland due to the rain garden.
Due to the what?
Due to the rain garden, the new drainage mitigation.
Oh, so you're gonna put a
strategy.
rain garden?
Yes.
If you,
It says a dry pond here. P dry pond.
Oh, so then they have,
Rain garden, so which
no, that's correct. They're referring to an old one, and I'm just going off of what it should be a dry pond. That's the updated drawing. But this is where they're showing the
So are we
impact.
putting a rain garden in, or are we putting a dry pond in?
Should be a dry pond, because that's what's noted on the plans that we're working with.
24, this one, what's this one?
21, August of 21.
I think these ones are outdated.
These are out
If
there.
I'm not mistaken, Rose did send us an email yesterday saying that they were submitted late and there was a file online for some of these plans.
But that was the latest, so they should have, you should have the latest, right?
This one,
Yes,
and
that
this-
is-
This one's the latest. This is 24.
This is,
Yeah,
yeah, I understand that. This is the latest. So then why am I looking at these?
they were on the file. These are
Is
from
this the one from
2021.
the file or the submission we sent in on Monday?
This is the, I took these from the file just now.
Right.
Because we submitted the entire ECB submission set that, via FedEx. I thought that's the plans we're referring, but I can bring my board if that helps. That's the plan
Bring your
we
board.
submitted.
Bring your board over.
I think we didn't get printed copies from, because Rose did put a comment in, so we might not have printed copies of the latest one.
All right, so you can make yourself another note. I need another few sets of plans for the file.
Printed.
Printed.
Yeah, we did send 6 copies, but
Oh, you did?
I'll send-
Okay.
Yeah, with the FedEx package.
These are also August of 20.
Ah,
Yes. Actually, this is the revision date we go by. That's the original date.
The
was
drawing, right.
That's the
You're
that's the
not- You're
revision.
right, you're right. My bad.
these are 24.
7, but where's this triangle?
2, 12, 24?
Where's 7? Usually you bubble your marks, right?
Oh, sure, she doesn't have it either. So this one that you're showing us here is different than the big one that you have in front of you right now. I don't know if it's the same sheet, but this one says rain garden,
That
this one says dry pond.
dry pond. What are we getting?
So I got this from the consultants who worked on the wetlands. I think they're going off of something incorrect. It's the dry pond that's shown on the side.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
the
so
dry
what-
pond is what's naturally wetlands.
Yes.
So then what's my mitigation for the wetland disturbance and the buffer disturbance? What's my mitigation?
So what I was told was they're working with the DEC right now to understand if first of all, if there's any impact to the permit that we have because of the new plan. If there's any inputs you have for the mitigation, I can pass that along. I've not been told about it.
Is there a reason why the dry pond had to go there as opposed to outside of
Because of
the?
the slope.
And also, I think there's some separation you need to keep from the groundwater.
That's
It's
all
very vague
supposed to come-
language.
That's supposed to catch everything off of the impervious area up here? This is impervious, I assume, asphalt
Or gravel.
or gravel? Is it? So what
Yeah,
is this
it's
dry
a gravel
pond
road.
catching?
I don't know.
What?
The roof drains,
Off the
the new structure.
29 by 40 foot?
It's 1,200 square.
It's a bit, I mean, it's a decent size, but I'm asking because do we need to, was that a requirement by any of the other agencies that have looked at this? Have they looked at this and said, yes, put a dry pond in, or that's the only thing we're gonna accept?
We are sending these new plans back to the DEC because initially, like I said, we had 8 square feet of permanent wetland disturbance. Now we're at 424.
Yep.
Even though the whole wetland itself is more than 25 acres, so
Mm-hmm.
they don't expect any significant impacts to the wetland itself. But we do want to get back to them, formally show them our plans and hear from them. But we're in the process of getting that
course.
correspondence.
The reason I'm asking these pointed questions is, can you move that? Can you move it to outside of the actual wetland, put it in the buffer somewhere? Can you use a different sort of water treatment, infiltrators? I don't know if the wet.
No, it's in wetlands. You
I know,
can't
it's
do
so
that.
far down already, but is
That's
there something else that you
You
can?
can put a rain garden there, but who's gonna
Right.
maintain it?
The other issue we're facing on these sites is that because we have the limit for area of disturbance, we need to keep it under 1 acre to qualify for DEC guidelines. If you go over 1 acre, there are some other stormwater, the mitigations become more intensive. So to keep it under 1 acre, we've tried to keep everything as close together, bring in the LOD so that we don't exceed the 1 acre threshold. And we're having to include the utility work up at Bucks Hollow, so that's really pushing our disturbance limits really close to the 1 acre mark. So everything is pushed close together, and so it works with the 1 acre threshold.
There's also some constraint in actually being
what's going on in this section over on the east side of the turnaround, in
Northeast.
the northeast side of the turnaround? Right now, it's in the area of disturbance. You're going to be taking down these trees, is that right? That's what these are, or are you putting those in? This is the planting guide?
No,
Yeah,
the
that's
X's
the
is
landscape. The X's are coming off,
removals.
the others are proposed.
Okay, so this is in the area of disturbance already. I'm asking, what's going on here, and why couldn't you put the pond?
It's higher.
It's higher elevation,
Yeah, but we're taking it off the leaders, no? That's what this is for.
but it's still, I can't push water uphill.
Oh, this is uphill, that's right.
It's
Oh, I
Right.
get it, okay. What about right behind it over here?
can't?
I mean, you can,
You can.
but
Yeah, I know, it's
pain
a
in the
big
butt.
deal.
What about right next to it?
Why not put it over there?
Because that's in the wetlands. I don't know, this kind of looks like it loops around the wetlands. And so if you move it out of there, you can get it,
But it's
I'm
not
saying,
our
can you remove
call,
the
it's
whole?
gonna be the DEC's call
To what?
to where that goes. Because they're going to the DEC for a permit,
Sure,
right?
sure.
So if the
If they
DEC
can get
wants to,
zero, if they can get that down to 8 or less than what it was before,
they
why
can.
not? Why?
Because they moved the building from here
Yeah,
to here
yeah,
to satisfy these people.
I'm with it.
So by them moving it from here to here, they went from 8 square feet of disturbance to 424.4 square feet of disturbance, which includes this and the dry pond.
No.
correct?
Basically, the building is in the buffer. The permanent wetland impacted only because of the dry
That's
pond.
the only, that's
What
what
are
I'm
these?
saying.
What are these things?
They
here?
stayed out of the buffer, or they stayed out of the wetlands.
Proposed
That's
by
the-
Connex.
That's the temporary treatment trailer
Okay.
that's on site, which I believe does the iron and manganese
Well, that'll be
also?
taken out once
No,
this
that's
is
Two. Yeah, this
That's
is
just
PFAS.
Okay,
taken out when,
once the permanent's in service.
yeah, it's
We
up
have
and
to
running.
intend to put the permanent in
fast.
sooner than later. Temporary is a thing to maintain. I mean, temporary is not
I can't dictate where, I think this is fine where it is, they'll just trench across the road and that'll be it. But it's gonna be the DEC's call, because you're gonna, instead of putting it back here,
Yeah.
this is 260, so it's a nice slope over here, but the problem is running it downhill fills up. Where's the rest of the water go?
Into the wetlands with the rest of
It
it.
goes down.
Yeah, but there's wetlands down here too. The only thing I'm trying to work with here is, instead of providing us some mitigation somewhere else, trying to figure out how we're gonna mitigate 400, which if we go by our calculation, it's what, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 mitigation for
Yeah.
for
1,200
taking it?
square feet.
Right, instead of doing that, if you find another place in here to put some sort of a catch for the water coming off of this, within the current disturbance area, within the buffer and not the wetlands, you don't have to do any additional mitigation.
I'm-
That's all I'm trying to work with.
I understand, and if we could have kept it under 1 acre, moving the dry pond somewhere else would mean the LOD would have to go around the dry pond. So I'm not sure if the reason they had it that way is to, if changing the location of the dry pond would impact the LOD may have been a concern when the engineers designed this. Because we're at 0.994 right now, we're not like 0.8, and we have like 0.2 acres to play with. We're at 0.994 acres and the threshold is 1 acre.
So then what's the mitigation? It's 1,200 square feet of mitigation.
What's the mitigation?
So the consultants who worked on this did not pass those notes along with me, so if you have any suggestions, I'll be happy to pass that along. I was not told of any mitigation strategies for the permanent
Well, you're in
disturbance.
You're in a wetland. You're supposed to mitigate when you go in a wetland.
I understand, it was just something that's,
This is not, though, I think it has to go in context a little bit. This is basically a situation where we're mandated to do this, as you know, for the health, safety, and welfare of the community. I mean, we need to get the PFAS
I understand.
out of there as quickly as possible.
But you've been here, it's been sitting on a shelf, negotiating with the homeowners association for 2 years. I mean,
Because we
there
were-
are certainly people smarter than me doing these drawings that could have said, hey, we're disturbing X 424 square feet, how are we gonna mitigate it for the town? Maybe the DEC may not make you do it, which is a
It's in our
possible.
code, though. It's in the town of Carmel code, that if you remove 1 square foot of wetland, you have to put back, it's either 2 or 3 square foot of mitigation or of
Enhancements.
enhancements.
Well, we are proposing extensive landscaping again, working with HOA, I don't know.
Yes,
if
we
But
it
that's
will
the
work.
HOA landscaping to hide this. It's not wetland mitigation, right?
Although I do appreciate planting of trees,
And we'll get to
personally.
that intensively as we continue with the agenda. I'm going to walk you through the landscaping plan also.
We obviously didn't expect to get a wetlands permit tonight, so
Yeah.
it's valuable for us to hear this from you. We were hoping to get a waiver on the tree cutting, so this could move forward as a separate matter. And also, ultimately, and I don't know if it's tonight or when we see you again, the planning board did refer to you for your advice.
Okay. Again, I think you should just look at the 424 and suggest something.
No,
That's not-
definitely.
that's
The
not-
wetland scientist who worked on this project, if I mentioned we need mitigation, I think this has just slipped their mind to pass on those notes to us. They'll definitely come up with like many strategies to help us along the way. So
I'm sure
that
they
is something we can work on. Should not be an issue.
I mean, other than that, at the end of the day, we have to keep the neighbors happy, right? Because inevitably they have, I understand fully about having utilities in your backyard.
Yeah.
I am well aware of it, so, try to keep them happy, and by dropping it down to 4 feet, works out to your advantage, which is good for you. But at the end of the day, they have to live there, right? But they're also benefiting from the water
Definitely.
that is being pumped out. It's gonna be cleaner and nicer for them to drink, right? So there's your offset. So now, the landscape, the landscaping plan doesn't really bother me. It's nice, it's aesthetic. If they're happy with it, I'm okay with it. But
I
the
do
thing-
have a letter from them if you'd like it. It
No,
may
it's,
not be
listen.
relevant.
Is it in approval of this, or saying that
It's
you should
in-
submit that to the file? That would be appreciated.
Okay, there's one for the planning board too. They said they're in support of the plans that were actually submitted to you earlier this week and later. Our issue, not your problem, is that our agreement with them is that if the plan changes in any material fashion, we have to go back and talk to them again, see what we can get done. I suspect moving this around or playing with it, if it came down to it, as long as it doesn't impact them directly, isn't going to be something that
Right.
would be a showstopper. But we
Also,
do have to talk
potentially
to them.
figuring out different configurations of the pond. I don't know what the specifications for how wide they
There's
need to
details
be.
of the pond in
No, but I
there,
mean,
right?
just
Yes,
in
they-
general,
yes,
how
we have
wide it needs.
details.
If you can make it skinnier and longer and move the pad out
You can't
slightly.
move that right now, because that's working.
That's,
Yeah.
that's
It's in
currently,
operation.
Yeah,
these two
that's-
are currently in operation.
Yes.
Got it.
You have to keep these running until you fire this
Finish that.
baby up.
You're exactly right.
I can't read drawings, but I know how to build. I was looking at that.
Yeah, well, you do.
I didn't expect it here, I usually look at
Yeah, no, that's fine.
If that's the case, I assume you're gonna be leaving the concrete pads where the temporary trailers are right now?
We're-
Is that gonna stay in place?
They're not on.
So that's one of the
They're not on
changes.
pads.
So the PFAS temporary treatment is just on a stone pad.
Okay,
The existing green sand temporary treatment, is on like 4, concrete footings.
okay.
But part of the agreement, I believe, is once that's removed, it's all going back to grass.
Yes,
Has
we're
to be
proposing.
restored.
Removed,
Yes.
Yeah, it's all gonna be removed.
The HOA, in fact, one of the 7 changes to the plans is mentioning what are we doing with that pad once the trailer goes away, and we're proposing grass.
Because if you shrink this by half and make it longer instead, you'll lose a whole bunch of square footage there. It'll come in. I mean, I will leave it to the proper architects and engineers to figure out the right configuration,
Yeah,
but
but again.
you may be able to
but-
play around
But
with
what
it.
you're doing is, you're building it up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cut
Yeah,
it.
You're cutting up, then you're gonna cut in
Yes, get a pump.
No.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
All right, I don't have a problem where listen, we gotta treat the groundwater, so you have a construction, excuse me, sequence in here as well, how you plan on doing the work. You have spill kits, you have,
For the tree cutting?
No, for the
this-
wetlands,
For the
for the
wetlands.
Construction stuff.
For the wetlands, the comments are gonna be no storage of equipment inside the wetland or the buffer, have to be stored on 6 mil poly. You have to have a spill kit, you have to have a fueling plan.
Which is outside the buffer and
Are you
outside
gonna
the.
pour concrete with a mixer or a hand mix?
Mixer.
You need to give me a concrete washout location,
Stockpile locations
stockpile
on there already?
location. What else? And you just need to give me what mitigation you're gonna do for the wetlands.
I just wanted to, that's probably part of your package, that
I remember
the
that.
DC, the permit in 26, but we'll,
Oh,
we
yeah, you
can
also have to
reflag that.
reflag the wetlands.
Yeah.
Deed valid, 6/24/26.
The red is where the road is going, I remember, yeah, I remember this, okay.
So
That's
we'll
right.
go with what you tell us, I just wanted to.
Yep.
This is till 26.
What is that? This is a flagging?
Wetland boundary validation, it's not
Oh.
flags, it's just the DEC gives them a boundary.
Who did this, the
See
DEC?
that Fleming?
Yeah, they're the wetlands specialists who work on
Yeah.
the project.
All right, I mean, I didn't really think that it would change that much, it's fine, I don't know if I
To
need
get
to
the
reflag it.
wetland, don't, if I got that, that's good till 26.
Yep,
That's it. So just, and also, you're supplying this to the DEC, correct?
Correct, yes.
So once you get your DEC permit, whatever the permit you need,
So our current
So-
DEC permit is valid till 27. We're reaching out to them to see if that's going to change at all because of the new design. And when we have that correspondence, we'll submit it to you.
Perfect.
Either way, yes.
you want these?
correspondence.
Is this for
with
me?
Yes, please.
HOA, either move or mitigate. The wetland.
Any other questions from the boards? Understood.
We're probably going to ask you regardless, to put up some wetland flags.
Yeah.
Town of Carmel wetland flags near the service, at the very least near the road entrances into this area. So
Okay.
there are little placards you put up just to indicate that anyone who's coming onto this property
Every
are
100
protected
feet.
wetlands.
So just, they're a little sign about this big, just look where you think would be most optimal. to-
Appropriate, right.
Sure.
Like along the wetland, along where the dry pond is.
Okay.
You know, no building there, you know, basically circle your camp.
Yeah, understood.
Where do we get those?
Should we
Rose.
pick up,
Okay.
yeah, from Rose?
Rose.
Yeah.
All right,
So really probably just like this area?
yeah, perfect.
Yep.
I wouldn't go towards the neighbors.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Don't go towards the neighbors.
what color are they?
We won't.
The,
I don't
Dark
like
blue,
it.
they're like dark blue. They blend in pretty, well, whatever. They're small, they're like this.
they're not, safety,
Not safety orange.
Now, the question left for you is the tree cutting.
Oh, yeah.
The trees-
That's the next
trees-
part.
Adam,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the
I had one
next-
question. So, once we submit these changes, are we good for publication or should we make another appearance to the ECB?
Come before us again.
You have to
Okay,
come,
okay.
show us what you did.
Sure, okay, understood.
Are you done with those, Mike?
Sorry, Adam.
No, I apologize.
No, don't worry about it.
Tree cutting.
This for the trees or this?
No, this is this.
This?
This is this.
This is this. And this is this.
This is this. This stems these and
And
those.
this,
This and that.
definitely.
Before us.
Thank you.
Tree cutting, tree cutting.
Thank you.
Oh, do you need?
If I may, what we have in mind would be to cut these trees and not touch the stumps. And the problem we're facing is what I'm sure you're used to, and is pretty standard, is the DEC permit requires the cutting not to occur after March 31st. So we're up against that deadline.
Okay, so
And-
let me first, before you keep going,
Yes,
I'm going to, so for item number 1, you took the notes for this one?
Yeah, I mean.
So item number 1, you have to figure out how you're gonna mitigate the wetland,
Yep.
right? Wetland,
Move or mitigate. They could-
move or mitigate. DEC permit or correspondence,
HOA correspondence,
HOA correspondence,
wetland signs,
wetland signs,
come before us again.
and come before us again.
And all the other details you mentioned about the refueling and
Right,
all
refueling,
the other
Oh.
stuff.
Normal stuff, yeah.
fueling,
Spill pad, all that
spill,
stuff.
spill kit,
It's okay.
Washout, concrete
concrete
washout,
washout. Okay. All right,
fueling.
next, so that one, right now, there's nothing going on, it's still on. So next item is Viola, formerly Sewers Water, Mahopac, tree cutting permit waiver request for behind 34 Coventry Circle. Please state your name and who you're here to represent.
hi again, Adam Weckstein from Huckerman, Tortorella, and Weckstein, and Ramya Ramanathan. And I won't pronounce her firm's name again, you can do that.
I'm from Adzel Nashua Ziegler, I'm the planner for the project. So we're here today to request the board if they could consider waiving the additional 19 trees we need to cut down because of the changes to the plan since you last saw us. The reason we're requesting for this waiver is because, as you're aware, DEC has a deadline of March 31st for any tree cutting to protect northern long-eared bat habitats. So just to meet that deadline, in the interest, we really want to get whatever we can done in time so we can get moving with the water treatments that need to go in. So we wanted to request if you would consider our request for a waiver to review additional tree cutting efforts.
Okay, let me just, I just have to check.
Sure.
Tree cutting? Oh, the tree cutting one.
Yes. Trees. And how are you planning to cut these trees? With just chainsaws, or are you going in there with logging equipment?
So with the chainsaw,
Tom Hercel with J. Fletcher Creamer. We'll be cutting it down with chainsaws. Climber will either climb the tree or use a bucket truck to systematically cut down the trees.
Okay. So you want a waiver of the permit, or you want a waiver of hearing?
So we're hoping, we know the typical route to get a tree clearing permit is to, submit the application and come in when there's a 30-day wait period to actually get the permit. If you would consider our request to maybe extend the original permit that we had to these 19 extra trees we need to cut,
How many trees?
19.
Okay, so under section 142-8, tree cutting operations, B, waiver of permit, the Environmental Conservation Board shall have the authority to waive the requirements that a person obtain a tree cutting permit if it finds that the proposed tree cutting is designed and will be conducted in accordance with the guidelines set forth herein, will not cause or contribute to soil erosion or flooding, will not affect the wetland as defined in the town of Carmel freshwater wetlands. So where are these trees located? Are they in the wetlands or are they in the buffer?
They're in the buffer.
Okay, that makes good. And then it further goes to says, and where said proposed tree cutting will not result in the cutting of more than 50 trees or more than five trees per acre.
Yes.
So it's not 50, you got 19.
19.
For said waiver, the applicant shall submit to the board a written request in 5 copies setting forth the description of the proposed tree cutting, the property affected by said tree cutting, and a sketch map showing the boundaries of the property and the location of the trees to be cut. Do you have the types of trees that are being cut?
Yes, there's a tree legend.
I don't have the plans in front. I didn't share with everybody. I shared, they don't share with me. That's okay, come on.
Sorry, I moved you.
All right.
That's okay. He doesn't
So-
get that offended.
I'll remember.
So they're maples, birch.
No. Yeah, so the ones in
The
pink.
ones in orange?
No, the ones in pink are the ones we removed under the original tree cutting permit.
Okay.
And those have been marked here with pink as well. Everything else you see is what we need to cut now.
What's everything?
Everything
All
in black,
these?
yeah.
Anything with
No,
the
anything with the
X's.
strikeouts in black, and the ones with black X's on them, for example, these, are what we need to take down. The
Okay.
pinks are what we did 2 years ago under the original permit.
Okay.
Just wanted to
So it's
delineate that.
19, right?
19 in total.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16.
By
Did we
the
take everything here?
road
One.
entrance?
Oh, maybe these, wait a minute, let me try that again. None?
Three
Those
here.
are done here already.
Yeah, no, I know, they were already marked out, so you got 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Yes.
There's your 19. Condition, poor, good, poor. Most of them are in poor condition. It's a split between good and poor condition, okay? For said waiver, so, it's considered the request for a waiver, the board shall consider the guidelines, standards, other requirements, chapter. Permit procedures.
We granted a tree cutting permit for this before,
Yeah,
is that correct?
yeah,
Do you have the original permit in there?
I don't know.
You have it?
I'll have a copy. You mind if I take a look at it? I'll give it back.
Here, right here. It's in the
Nine,
file.
14.
14 total.
And so you're adding 19 more.
Yes.
Are the original trees all in this one as well? Meaning like you're also gonna be taking down the exact 14 that were previously in it?
They're
Those were
down.
already done.
Already done. Great. When was this due? Does it expire after a year?
2023.
2023. We can grant,
Yeah.
we can grant an extension and then.
No, we'd have to grant a new.
Or we could waive it
We
too.
could waive it.
I think,
Are you planting trees? Sorry,
Yes. So
I
on the up,
think possibly waiving it
Yeah.
for public health might make some sense in this world.
Mm.
So if this is really holding it up, I don't think that should be an issue for me. I
grateful.
mean, this is really serious. I have a system in my house at the state, so I'm aware of this for years, so. So
We're
anyway,
grateful.
that's my
Are
opinion.
you good?
I just wanna hear the planting of trees.
Yes, so, again, as a part of the HOA agreement, we want to shield this new building, even though it's further south, as much as possible. We're giving them 2 rows of plantations here, which mostly comprise of 3 species. We have the cedars, we have the Norway spruces, and we have the green giants. It's a mix of these 3 species. Over here, because we had some room, we've given them 2 rows, so it's nicely
Right,
shielded off. But as we go down south, we were able to just give them 1 row because of the building and the LOD. We don't have much room to play with there.
Did they request from you a bond?
Bond of what sort, I'm
A
sorry?
tree planting bond?
They did not.
Okay.
We anticipated some sort of maintenance requirement.
Right.
The
Yeah.
planning board was talking about it.
We can
So,
ask the planning board to do
Well,
that.
we could do that.
Well, then we'd have to we'd have to give a permit then. You can't just.
No, well, that's, the planting of the trees is only gonna be done after
The
the
site
plant is installed.
Oh, so we can put it on that other,
Yes.
all right, that's fine, I'll add a
Yeah,
note.
makes
I'm good with
So
that.
do I have a motion to the board to grant a waiver under Article 142-8B, waiver of permit to include the removal of an additional 19 trees for back lot 34 on, for J. Fletcher, Kramer and Sons. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you got your waiver.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right,
Very
but here's the
grateful.
deal, right?
Yes.
So
2 days.
when you come back for the other permit, you need to come in with a count of well, you have a count, 24.
This is on the tree, this is in the other file already.
Yeah, this is in
So,
the file already.
right.
So whatever the value of the trees are with a maintenance plan, include that as well. Okay, and a bond.
Is the list?
So,
The list is right here.
No, but is that accurate?
yes, we do also note the number down there. We say how many we cut to the prior permit and
Yeah, I
how
see
many we're
that.
proposing
Fine.
now. So, no, I'm just for adding this question.
I'm talking about the new trees.
Okay,
The new trees, what I want is, I know you're putting in 40, say 50 trees.
okay,
That's the math works close to it, say 50 trees. So what you have, whatever the cost of those trees are, $2,000, whatever it is, I
Yeah.
don't know what the number is, you gotta give me a bond for replacement of at least.
Like a 3-year or 5-year, what is it?
3-year.
Is it?
3-year bond.
So they have to last 3 years, then you get the bond back if they're still alive.
And come in
after
with a
3 years.
maintenance plan.
sure. We would be adding site plan notes and explaining to the planning board what we're doing, so
Cool.
they'll be running with the plan, yeah.
Yeah, and then, I also, just to be clear and for, completion's sake, the removal of the trees needs to be consistent with what is in the file here when you remove them. So if you have additional trees that need to be removed, you'll have to,
Come back
Come
again,
back.
we
which you
understand.
are on a quick clock here.
19 does not mean 20.
Right.
We understand, and we in fact submitted amended drawings, documents to Rose. I have copies of that for her file right now. So we're trying to keep everything on the same record and
You're
accurate.
above board with us, we're above board
Yep.
with you. All
Thank
right?
you so much. We appreciate it. Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
And your input.
Just wish I read drawings better. How I missed that damn chart?
So many different formats.
Yeah, I'll hold the rubber band for you. too.
All right, so granted a waiver.
Rose's box, she told me to drop this in.
Just give it to me, I'll
Okay.
stop it in her.
Again, I'm sorry for this change in submission.
No,
You're
no, no.
fine.
Thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Have a lovely evening. Get home safe. It says it right here. That's-
Your notes? Yeah, good, good, good.
Okay, next item is meeting minutes 2/15/24. The only ones that cannot vote are Nick and Anthony. Okay? So do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from February 15, 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Oh, I can't vote, sorry,
Approved.
abstain.
Okay, that's it. So with that, we're done. Do we have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. And enjoy the first day of spring. Thank you.